one night when I was trying to fall asleep, some energy attacked me, and this has never happened to me before. And it was something like, it was just black. I could see it, like I visualized it. I saw it like big snakes, like whirling around, and it was just coming towards me.
Welcome to Happy Home, your space clearing podcast where my mother and I explore the world of space clearing. Join us as we share real-life case studies and success stories of removing negative energies, spirits, poltergeists from people's homes, helping them create a harmonious and balanced living environment. Whether you're into energy work, spirituality, feng shui, or simply want to learn more about space clearing techniques, this podcast is for you. Tune in every week and discover the power of space clearing for yourself. Subscribe now to our podcast and start your journey towards a happier, healthier, and more vibrant home. Hello everyone, I'm so excited for this new episode. Today we have a guest here and she is here anonymously. We will call her Caresse. And we are going to speak about South Sudan and the space clearing I did there recently, and about the amount of black magic that I found there, which was the heaviest amount of black magic I ever dealt with in my career of 12 plus years now of doing space clearings and removing black magic. But before we dive into that fascinating story, I just want to welcome Caresse. Hello, Caresse.
Hi, Lais. I'm so excited to be part of this podcast and to tell my story with you.
I know, it's exciting. I'm so happy and honored that you're doing this. Obviously, you're doing this anonymously. Can you describe to the listener why we are doing this anonymously?
That is because of my work. I've been working in the international field for almost 20 years. In different places. I've been stationed in Africa before, so now I'm stationed in South Sudan. And so when you do this kind of work, it's better to have it done, anonymously.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you so much for being part of this and for sharing a bit about your past and obviously the space clearing that we did together. But let's dive into your past first. Like, how did you grow up? I know you were always sensitive to energy. Maybe you can share with the listener a little bit about how you got into the world of energy, healing, etc.
Yeah, sure. So I started very early I've always been very intuitive. And I think when I was like 16, I already started like being interested in this field. Then I went to South America when I was younger, and there I met a lot of people that introduced me to, energy and spiritualism. And so I continued to have these experiences and my intuition got sharper. And so I started working with energy. I also got a Reiki early on, like when I was 18, I already had a degree of Reiki. So it was really something that's been in my life for a long, long time. And so over the years, I've just kind of done my own bit of how I would work with the energy for myself, clearing energy, sensing energy. And for the last few years, I've done a lot of just connecting with the energy field and channeling energy to the planet, to places, to myself. So yeah, I've been doing this on I would say, almost daily basis, and really always being aware of where I am energetically. I can sense it. If there's something that's not so good, I can sense it. If it's good energy, of course, I can sense it. So yeah, I've been involved in this kind of work for a long time, I would say.
Love it. And it's so empowering because I know you're a world traveler. You're stationed in so many different places. Also, you travel, of course, for private reasons too. So having all these tools that you described, be it Reiki, energy healing of any form, your grounding practices, all of that, having it, I'm sure, is like a gift, right? That you can use every single day.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing that I started using a lot also during the last few years is put an energetic protection and always bring back my energy when I feel that I've expensed energy that I should have kept. But the energetic protection is very important. And I imagine a white crystal ball all around me before I go and leave my house.
Wow.
So that's been with me for several years, and I really feel it's effective. And I even put mirrors that face outwards on that ball, meaning that anyone who is reflecting anything on me will be reflected back to them. So yes, that's been part of my daily habit, so to speak. And I can tell when I forget to do it, I immediately put it up when I remember.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, because indeed it was one of the questions I would have asked you is, how do you protect yourself? Because obviously you go into places where the energy might be negative. And so having this protection and sharing with the listeners what that looks like can help them to also implement this kind of tool to visualize a ball or a white light or any form of protection around them so that they are safe going into different places.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important. And you can feel it as you get more sensitive. You can feel when it's very important. You can feel when you can let your guard down a little bit, but it's always a good idea to have this kind of protection around you.
Yes, and especially I can see how many international aid helpers or international people working for these international organizations, when they're stationed abroad in different countries, maybe even war zones, you never know, that in these kind of tense situations, it's even more important to be fully protected.
Yes, some places just have more heavy energy. And so that energy will drag you down a little. It will take from you. So you have to protect yourself.
Yeah, incredible. So, and I know you for many years, of course. I want the listeners to know our story goes far beyond this South Sudan story. I wanted to start talking about the work we actually did in Delphi.
Yes. But this particular one was Greece, the Oracle of Delphi. Yes. When I traveled there.
Oh my God.
Yes, let's summarize this. This was quite an interesting experience. So remember how I told you, I'm going to go to the Oracle of Delphi. This is interesting as a space. I feel like there's going to be a vortex. There's an interesting situation in terms of energy healing. So I said, why don't you connect to me? I will let you know when I meditate in that place and you connect with me. So then, the weather was all crazy. And I remember sitting down and I was like, it's going to start raining and storming. But then I started meditating. I had told you, and then I could feel it. Like it was like this huge energy vortex, like circular energy starting to circle. And I was like, whoa, this is quite strong. And I was like wondering, I wonder what Lais is sensing in this very moment. And then you called me back and you said, wow, this was incredible. There were all these old souls, a lot of female energy, women that had been the oracles of Delphi for all centuries, and they were kind of trapped. And so I guess I opened the vortex and you went in and you released all the trapped energy, and then we reactivated the vortex so that, now it's active again. So yeah, but I felt this so strongly and it went really fast. I don't know. So yeah, that's what I remember. And it was really amazing.
I remember the same thing, that it went pretty quick. It was incredibly strong. I had already felt that you had been working on it. And so by the time I went in, I felt like it was so easy, because you had already opened it up, and all those souls that had been trapped there, it was easy to send them onwards and to liberate that vortex and to bring it to the next level, let's say, right, to 5D and beyond. So that was incredible work.
And it literally stormed after that.
Yeah,
it started raining and storming. And that really consolidated the experience for me.
Oh, so true. Wow, that is such a powerful experience, especially that you were there yourself, like, I was just zoning in from abroad, of course, but you were there. So that must have been incredible.
Yeah. And when you're there physically, something is different about that. I can't put my finger on it, but everything is more intense, I guess. You're just way more connected with the place when you stand there physically.
Wow. Also, if anybody wonders what a vortex is, I have previous episodes that I recorded on the podcast that you can refer back to, where I explain a bit more about vortexes, what they are, and why it's important to have them fully activated and open so that spirits can travel safely through them to the higher dimensions. So there's more about it in other episodes. But yes, thank you so much for reminding me of this beautiful work that we did together previously. Let's dive into South Sudan now, because of course that's the whole topic of today's episode. I want to hear from you what it felt like when you got there in terms of the energy. Like, what was the reason you wanted me to come in and help you with the space clearing?
So when I arrived here, all of a sudden I felt like my skills were cut off. I felt cut off from everything. It was the weirdest feeling. I felt like I had entered some weird place where I'm just not, I stopped all my usual practice of sending energy. I just stopped any of that. I did increase even more my protection. I felt very clearly that this was a place where I had to protect myself much more. And there was something about the place that I was like, wow, the energy, it's very intense. And at the same time, I don't know how to describe it. It felt like everything was a level lower, or more than a level. You know, my energy was lower. My feelings were lower. Things were heavier, as if I was walking through some sort of glue, I would call.
Wow. Yeah, I remember you sharing something like that. And also at night, you had quite an experience.
Yes, one night when I was trying to fall asleep, some energy attacked me, and this has never happened to me before. And it was something like it was just black. I could see it, like I visualized it. I saw it like big snakes like whirling around, and it was just coming towards me. And thankfully, even though I was trying to go to sleep, so I wasn't fully there, but I immediately put my crystal white ball all around me, and within seconds this went away. But this kind of scared me, because I never had that before, and I could sense that this was an individual attack. And so yeah, it didn't feel good.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine. It must be super scary to be there at night by yourself and then experience this.
Yes.
Gosh, yeah. Even the visuals with the snakes, it's super strong.
Yeah. And you know, the place, this country is beautiful. There's so much nature. But everything, even that, felt flat to me, even though I was looking at it and all the beautiful birds and nature. But yeah, something felt flat.
That's crazy. So yes, that's where we are at when, by the time Caresse called me for a space clearing, and I was like, sure, no problem whatsoever. I'll just do it, I think, I don't know, on a Saturday or so, and I'll just send you a message after when I'm finished to tell you everything is okay. And then I went in to meditate and start the space clearing, and immediately I was stuck. This I had never experienced before. I could not zone into your house. I could just not get into it, not even into the country. I was blocked. Like there was this massive black shield that wouldn't let me through. And it was scary to witness that and to see that and to feel that. And immediately my guides were like, this is black magic. I was like, oh, great. And I was like, no problem. I know I have removed black magic before, so it's going to be easy. Let's do it. And it wasn't. I couldn't get through that black magic shield. And I was telling you, I think at that moment, I was sending you a message saying, I'm so sorry, but there seems to be like the strong shield of black magic. I'm not managing to get through. And I think, I don't know if you freaked out by that time or how you reacted.
Pretty much. I had already sensed that something was really off here. And when you sent me this message, I just went, oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh. I just felt for a moment, what am I going to do? But then I realized, or I remembered, the universe always sends you to the right places, and it wouldn't send me with no solution to any of this. And I was resolved, and I just focused in my mind. I was like, focus on, you always protected, just so that you don't let yourself get down by this. But this was freaking me out for sure.
Yeah, me too. Because at that point, I didn't know what I would do. And the only information I received from the space clearing guides at that moment was that I had to wait for the full moon, which I don't know if it was 1 week after or 2 weeks after. But it was quite a bit of weeks, right, that we had to wait. And where I said, let's try then, because with full moon, the energies are much stronger. We can work with much stronger help. And I also remember I called up a other space clearing expert or a healer that does space clearings and is intuitive, and she tried to zone in to the country and also couldn't, and received some disturbing messages of somebody who paid for black magic or somebody who paid for something. And so we were not sure who that person was, but somebody high above who was paying for black magic and was preventing healers or intuitives to zone into the energies there. And I think it was also her who mentioned, but don't worry, I have a feeling your friend is protected from the inside and that you will need her from the inside to do this work together. And that's, I think, what I shared with you then, that probably together during the full moon then we'll go in and do this. Oh gosh. So imagine us then at the full moon. I think you messaged me in the morning. You said, hey, I'm going to go in and I'm going to meditate now. And I said, me too. And so at that point, I still didn't know if it would really work, but I was very hopeful that it would. But immediately as I zoned in, it worked. Because you had
that's incredible.
From the inside, and the full moon was there. And it was just immediately like that black magic didn't have any chance at that point. That whole shield was lifted. I could finally zone into where you're living. And I started clearing that whole space from inside, removing spirits, removing any negative impregnations on the land below, which we know there was a lot of, was it war or like conflicts around?
Yes, conflict.
Yes, so all of that.
A lot of conflict.
So while I was doing that, can you take the listener through how you meditated, what you focused on, so that I could actually get in and do the work?
I just sat there and I connected first to source and to the earth core, like I always do. And then I connected to the energy grid, like I used to, I just tried to be like very connected and connect through despite this shield, which was still kind of there. But I just was like, no, I'm going to connect to the other energy workers out there so I can upgrade my energy here.
Absolutely.
And I just asked for help and guidance.
Yeah, it was incredible because the moment you did that, I was able then to come in. And without it, I'm sure it wouldn't have worked. So I was speechless, really, that it took two people to work on this. But yeah, that's what happened. And then as I was clearing where you live and the land below, they were showing me a vortex close by. I was completely blocked. And not just that vortex, they showed me the entire country was blocked because of that black magic shield. All these spiritual energies had been blocked. So vortexes, ley lines, all of it was blocked, meaning all the spirits were blocked as well, where, usually they would travel to the light. They couldn't. Everything was blocked. So thousands of spirits were then able to walk into the vortexes, go to the light, find their peace, and the entire country was just energetically elevated, activated to a higher level. And then I think that's also when you mentioned I can finally root myself again. I can feel it.
Yes. Yeah, it's even as if everything all of a sudden looked more beautiful. And I think I know exactly where that vortex is, not far from here.
Oh, wow.
And I climbed up there one morning, and I was like thinking, this is a special place, but even this is not, like, I could feel that it wasn't activated, but I could also feel that it would be a special place normally.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's like, and now I just feel so different.
Wow.
I feel free. I feel like my energy can flow. I'm not afraid. I mean, I wasn't very afraid before, but just like this not standing in your full energy is not a good feeling.
I can imagine. Yes, and the incredible part is that South Sudan energetically was so cut off from the rest of the continent, where I know you had been stationed before already, where you felt good energies, where you felt connected. South Sudan was very much disconnected from this whole grid of energy, and eventually what happened is that all the vortexes, ley lines, as they became active again, I saw South Sudan connecting to the entire continent of Africa again.
Mm-hmm. And
so that was beautiful to witness, to unify it energetically with the mother continent.
This continent has a very strong energy. It's very earthy. It's very, very strong, and it's beautiful. I really enjoy it, and I'm really happy that this happened, and that I can now enjoy being rooted in this strong earthy energy, even here where I am right now.
I know, especially for you, you have such a big mission over there and doing such important work. So I'm just so grateful that you managed to do this, so you get to focus on your amazing work and be protected also, of course, and not be attacked at night and, all these crazy things.
Yeah.
But just to share with you, I'm not sure I shared it before, these kind of snakes, it's like the main symbol of black magic. When I see black magic, it's snakes.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
I was working in Togo before. It was the same thing with the black snakes attacking. It's really, I don't know why, but not just black snakes, of course, but very often it's the symbol that I see for black magic. It's snakes.
Wow. Okay. Now I'm even more grateful that it's gone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I know you're stationed there for a bit longer. And so I know you will be doing amazing work while you're there, and you already feel the energy there is better. So I know you shared a bit before already for other people who are doing international work, be it humanitarians, be it whatever else they're doing, Peace Corps, all the different things you can do in an international organization abroad. What is your overall advice for these people? Of course, we talked about the protection shield. Is there anything else you want them to know to better protect themselves, their energy, etc.?
First and foremost, it's the protection through some sort of mechanism like I like to use. I learned this a while ago, and I find this the simplest way. Just imagine a crystal white ball that covers you entirely and put the mirrors facing outwards. When I had this attack from the black snakes, let's call them, I did this in a second. I just was like, crystal white ball, and it went away. It's very powerful. And when you're working in these places and dealing with heavy situations, experiences, can be very draining. So it's really important that you always put the protection before you start your day. For me, that's number one.
Right.
And once you have that, you can also tune into the strong earth energy that's around here and connect with, I don't know what I call the earth spirits. I don't know, just like connect with this and draw energy from it, because it's very powerful in Africa, in the African continent. And I also like to connect regularly with the grid of energy from other people that are working, on the planet. I like to connect with that and also insert more energy into the planet. Like we all do this together. As soon as you connect with that energy grid, it will also elevate your energy. So that's my usual practice.
Absolutely.
But you are the expert on that one.
It's so true. Oh my God. It's such an amazing experience to travel, connect to different energy grids. And by energy grids, I mean ley lines, vortexes, all of that together. Because every place has a different energy to it. As you mentioned, Africa has a very specific energy. Other countries have other energies, and always connecting to the grids in the countries we visit or are stationed in or work in or live in for a while. It's a synergy between you and the country. You get activated, the country gets activated. It's a gift on both ends, because we bring something in energetically for that country or that place, but also we receive so much in return. So for you in South Sudan, you are also receiving a lot back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can feel it.
Mm.
I can feel it.
Yeah,
I really enjoy this, actually.
yeah, it's such a beautiful practice. So for those of you who are traveling a lot, who are nomadic, or just, on holidays, just start implementing this knowledge that you bring energy with you, you receive energy, make a conscious effort to not just take, when you go to a new culture, but to also give back to that place. And yeah, I think that's one of the most beautiful practices, really, to do that.
I agree.
I once had a conversation with a Romani woman, and she was talking about the gypsies and her ancestors who were gypsies, and how they always thought about, because they were, traveling around, living in different places, how they always wanted to leave the place in a better place than when they found it before.
That's beautiful.
So wherever they went, they made sure they made it more beautiful, be it by planting a tree or making a nice garden or giving back to the people, doing something beautiful for that space that wasn't there before they came. And I think we should all adopt that a bit and not just think, oh, my next holiday, and let's just, have fun and take from that culture. But how can we give back? How can we make the space or the place more beautiful? And I think that's such a beautiful.
Both beautiful and also energetically more positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can we add something positive?
How can we add?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's a practice that also my boyfriend now implements every time we live somewhere. We try, or he especially, he tries to leave it more beautiful than before by planting something or by beautifying the garden where we are living at, being kind to the neighbors, to the locals, to the landlords where we live. We were living in Tuscany. He was helping with the olives, taking them off the trees for the harvest. And those are little things you can always do.
Yeah. These little things cannot be overestimated.
I know. So there's so much we can do. And yeah, I think I want everybody who's listening to this to really consciously make an effort for the next holiday or the next move, when they're visiting a place, to really think about how can I give back, because that's needed.
Now more than ever.
I know. Now more than ever. I think we are ending this on a such high note and a positive note that I'm so grateful for that we had this conversation, Caresse. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I was so happy to share my story.
Yeah, and I think it's an important one because there's so many like you who are on missions abroad and who need that kind of information to navigate life, to stay protected and grounded. So helpful that you were on this episode. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, dear.
Okay, and I'm also saying goodbye to all the listeners. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, please leave a review, and I'll see you in one of the next episodes. Goodbye.
Goodbye.